Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. It's the Untitled Critic, and today I'm testing Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8 on the Steam Deck OLED. I actually love Resident Evil 7 a lot. I played this game back on the PlayStation 4 when it came out, finished it, and decided to pick it up again for the Steam Deck. So as you can see, the game looks absolutely stunning. It runs mostly on high settings and it maintains solid 60 frames per second. The RE engine is just absolutely incredible. So we're going to take a quick look at the settings. Actually, we're going to look at the display settings in a minute, but let's first check the graphics settings. So as you can see here, frame rate, it's variable. I mean, obviously you can lock it to 60, but I'm locking it from the Steam Deck frame limit, so it doesn't really matters. VSync, honestly, don't really. I didn't notice it to affect much the gameplay. Usually, I turn it off mostly. And on or off. Actually, when the Steam Deck is this, when the frame rate is this stable, it's really not really a big problem. The fidelity, super resolution, ultra quality, texture filtering very high. Anti-aliasing, we're using TAA, FXAA, motion blur is on. Usually I turn it off, but but actually it looks good for the Resident Evil games. I guess also because the character generally and the cameras moves rather slowly, so motion blur looks good, looks fine. Shadow quality very high. I would say this is very important for a game as dark and where the lighting and the shadows are really as important as this one. Dynamic shadows on, plume on, reflections on. I mean, as you can see, everything is just pretty maxed out. Chromatic aberration, I think it was on by default. I turned it off. I just don't like how it is. So pretty much everything is on default. I just turned this one off, the chromatic aberration. Not really a fan. And now it comes to the display. As you can see, the Resident Evil 7 as well as 8 support HDR, and when you start the game for the first time on a deck OLED, the game asks you if you want to enable HDR, which I would recommend because it just makes everything looks more realistic. I would say it does mute the colors, however, but it just makes the game looks better. I would say it fits very well with, especially with Resident Evil 7 settings and theme. However, the brightness settings is actually confusing. As you can see here, we have this white box, and the game tells you to change the brightness till till you can't see the other box which is inside this one. However, if we turn it down, so this is how it is by default. You would probably turn it to 600, but I would say don't stop here, go all the way up to 1000, which is which is the brightness settings, 1000 nits for the Steam Deck OLED screen. And this is very important because even now when we went all the way up to the max brightness of the Steam Deck OLED, the game is still actually pretty dark. And right. So as you can see here, and by the way, this is now we have brightness settings much higher than what the game was recommending us to, and it's still like, it's really hard to see stuff sometimes. The game is super difficult to see in some places. But I guess this is what they were going for, right? With Resident Evil, and I would say it's especially very difficult to see if you are playing next to a window, as I am doing right now. Obviously, I'm recording, but usually I play in a darker place. Actually, I've been playing this game for a few days now, so I kind of even forgot what I was supposed to be doing here. Okay, this is a broken shotgun. I need to replace it with the other one. I've been actually playing Resident Evil 8, which I'll be also showing in a second, but we're just gonna play a little bit here. All right, yeah, I forgot. I actually have so much stuff with me right now. I probably can't take this one. Oh, no, actually I do have. Oh, okay, good. So I'm gonna place a broken shotgun. So I'm gonna show you guys how the game looks with HDR off. And as you can see, suddenly is much brighter. Things definitely looks more colorful. But I would say it definitely looks, to my eyes at least, it looks better with HDR on. I think that's the way the game is supposed to play. As you can see, things definitely look much brighter. Unfortunately, HDR is something that's many developers don't really pay much attention to. At least from what I've seen, most HDR implementations haven't really been all that good. So we have it now back on, and as you can see, the game looks way darker. But that also makes that every little source of light is very important. All right. So we are switching now to Resident Evil 8 Village. I'm about 9 hours into the game so far, and I'm absolutely enjoying it. However, I would say this is the least scary Resident Evil game I've ever played. This is straight up just action game, I would say. Definitely, I wouldn't call it a horror game. Like there are maybe a couple of places that are a bit scary, but again, you know, you also have games that aren't horror game but can be sometimes scary. But yeah. So as you can see here, this game looks, I would say, better than 7. The environments are more detailed. There are a lot more, you know, there are a lot more stuff happening on screen. Way larger places, but still it's 60 frames per second. And if we take a quick look at the settings, yeah, so as you can see, it's generally speaking, settings are mixed between medium and high. Ray tracing is off. Shadow quality medium. Yeah, generally speaking, depth of field is on. Generally speaking, it looks good. Settings are good. And for HDR, it's also enabled here. I've also enabled it for this game. Honestly, I didn't see that it makes much difference on or off, at least for this game. I don't know why. In 7, the difference is very obvious when it's on or off, but for this game, not as much. But yeah, it's a good game. Just be careful when you are playing it. It's not just like a it's not survival horror game. There is no elements of managing, you know, inventory. There is no box. You just carry everything with you, and you have a lot of space, and you can upgrade. And there are tons of weapons, and yeah. But it's fun game. I would say it's more in line with games like Resident Evil 4 and 5. As you can see, very action heavy. I would say it's kind of a bit brighter than Resident Evil 7. I wasn't having much problem, you know, seeing things as I was having in, you know, in 7. This area specifically, I would say it's probably the darkest area in the game. Most of the game takes place in much brighter hallways and, sometimes in the village itself, which is, but this part of the game is actually pretty dark. But yeah, it's also hard to see with if you are sitting next to a window. You really need to play these games like in a dark room. Like, where am I? Okay, okay. I noticed I'm going the wrong direction right now, but I just want to show you guys. I can't even see the enemy. Oh my god. I'm giving you guys some close-up. Oops. Alright, so I don't really want to spoil much stuff because right now I'm like 10 hours into this game, so this area is actually kind of a bit late game stuff, so yeah, I think it's a good place to stop. But yeah, the most important thing is just want to show you guys how the game looks and plays. As you can see, it just looks fantastic. I would say these games are some of the best looking games I've played on the Steam Deck. Just the quality, I mean everything, even when you zoom in, like I never seen a game as detailed as this one and still maintains this solid performance. So great job to Capcom. Hopefully the upcoming Resident Evil game will also plays well on the Steam Deck. We'll see. So that's it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to leave a like, leave a comment, tell me if you played this game, if you enjoy them on the Steam Deck, and what other games you would like me to see testing, and yeah, so that's it. We'll see you next time.